Ego is what is ruining your life, and not the relationship you lost, not the job that didn't work out, not the people who drifted away from you. Did you know that the reason you lost that important relationship, the reason that job didn't work out, the reason people distanced themselves from you without you fully understanding why, the reason you feel like no one truly values you, is not because the world is against you, not because people don't understand you, not because you're not good enough, but because there is something inside you that is quietly sabotaging you every single day, and you can't even see it. And in this video, you're going to understand why your ego, that voice that tells you you're always right, that you deserve more recognition, that everyone else is wrong, is exactly what's destroying your life without you realizing it, and how to recover the humility you lost before it's too late. I know exactly what you've been carrying inside for a long time, maybe for years. There is a version of yourself you believe you are, a version where you're smarter than most people, where your ideas are superior, where if things don't work out it is because others aren't on your level, where every criticism you receive feels unfair because they don't understand your vision, your talent, your real value. And that image of yourself is so bright, so polished, so perfect in your mind, that you defend it with claws and teeth every time someone questions it. And now, whether you're 18, 25, 35, or 45, you're still carrying that invisible armor of superiority. You constantly correct people because someone has to tell the truth. You interrupt conversations because your point matters more. You minimize other people's achievements because deep down, you feel they overshadow yours. You reject advice because you already know. You feel resentment when others receive recognition. You believe you deserve more. And every time someone points out a mistake, your immediate reaction isn't reflection. It's defense, counterattack, justification. And that pattern you just recognized, that automatic defensive reaction you have when someone questions you, when someone doesn't applaud you, when someone dares to suggest that you might be wrong, that reaction is not strength, no matter how much you've believed it is. It's not self-confidence, no matter how many times you've told yourself that. It's something completely different. It is the clearest sign that something is controlling you from the inside. Something that makes you lose exactly what you need most in order to grow. And most people live their entire lives without ever realizing what that something is. If right now you feel internal resistance, if part of you is thinking, this doesn't apply to me, I'm not like that, if you want to close this video, because you're starting to see something uncomfortable in yourself, but your mind immediately looks for excuses to deny it, then we're on the right path. Take a deep breath and stay, because what I'm about to show you can completely change your relationship with yourself and with everyone around you. Here is what no one tells you about ego. It is not your enemy because it makes you feel bad about yourself. It's your enemy because it prevents you from seeing reality as it actually is. Ego is not low self-esteem. It's the exact opposite. It is that voice that constantly tells you that you were special, that you're above others, that you deserve special treatment, that normal rules don't apply to you. And that voice is ruining your life in ways you still cannot see. Let me introduce you to Marcus Aurelius, the powerful Roman emperor you've seen in books and movies. And here comes something that may sound contradictory. This man had absolute power over the greatest empire in the world. He could literally do whatever he wanted, without being questioned. Thousands of people praised him daily. He had every perfect ingredient to develop the biggest ego in history. And yet, he wrote obsessively about something that makes no sense for someone in his position. He wrote about the importance of humility and about the deadly danger of ego. Why would someone with so much real power dedicate time to reminding himself that he was not special? Because Marcus Aurelius understood something most people never do. External power doesn't protect you from ego, it feeds it. The more success you have, the more people praise you, the easier it becomes to believe your own publicity, to think you're truly superior, to lose sight of your basic humanity. And in Meditations, he wrote something revolutionary. When you wake up in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. He wasn't writing about his imperial achievements. He was grounding himself in the basic facts all humans share. And here is the brutal truth you've probably been avoiding your entire life. Your ego is making you believe you are more important than you actually are, not because you're not valuable, not because you don't have genuine talents, but because it makes you lose sight of the fact that everyone else is valuable too, that everyone else has talents, that everyone else deserves respect. Ego places you at the center of the universe, when in reality, you're just one of billions of human beings trying to navigate existence. Every time you feel that need to prove your superiority, every time you feel offended because someone didn't recognize your contribution, every time you minimize someone else's work to elevate your own, every time you can't simply say, "You're right, I was wrong," without feeling like you're losing something, your ego is in control. And while it's in control, you can't grow, you can't learn, you can't genuinely connect with others. You can see your own mistakes. You were stuck in an invisible prison made of your own imagined importance. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher from the same era, understood the specific poison of ego and vanity, and he wrote, "No man should be praised for what is not his. If you are praised for beauty, thank nature. If for wealth, thank fortune. But if you are praised for virtue, then and only then may you accept the credit." He was pointing to something crucial. Most of the things our ego takes pride in were never truly created by us. And now, you are standing at that crucial point. The point where you decide whether you will continue letting your ego control your life, ruining relationships, blocking growth, pushing opportunities away, or whether you finally begin to see that. Now, I want you to understand something that will completely change how you see yourself. But before that, I need to warn you, this will deeply unsettle you. It will challenge every story you've told yourself about why you deserve more. It will question every time you blamed others for not recognizing you. Imagine for a moment that all those times you felt undervalued, that you weren't given the credit you deserved, that people didn't understand your brilliance, were not external injustices, but clear signs that your ego was distorting your perception of reality, that maybe you weren't as indispensable as you believed, that maybe your contribution wasn't as exceptional as you thought, that maybe others really were just as capable, or more. That presentation you gave at work that you thought was brilliant, but no one seemed impressed by, maybe it wasn't as brilliant as you believed. That relationship that ended because she didn't know how to value what she had with you. Maybe you didn't know how to value what you had with her. That project that failed and you blamed on your team for not following your vision. Maybe your vision wasn't as clear as you thought. Those friends who drifted away because they couldn't handle your success. Maybe they couldn't handle your constant attitude of superiority. And I know exactly what you were thinking right now. This sounds like you were saying, "I am worthless, that I have no reason to be proud of my achievements, that I should lower my head and accept being less." Let me be completely clear before we go any further. That is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you have no value. I'm not saying you shouldn't to recognize your achievements. What I am saying is something entirely different. I'm saying that your current suffering, that feeling of not being recognized, of being surrounded by people who don't understand you, of believing the world doesn't see your true value, does not come from actually being undervalued. It comes from your ego making you believe you deserve more recognition than any human being reasonably does, and the difference is enormous. Marcus Aurelius, with all the power in the world, wrote, "Everything you hear about me is opinion, not reality. Everything you see in me is perspective, not truth." And he understood that even praise, even real recognition, did not define his true value as a human being. They were only external and temporary perceptions. And here is the crucial distinction most people confuse. Having confidence in yourself is not the same as having ego. Confidence says, I know I have valuable skills and I can contribute. Ego says, my skills are superior to others and my contribution matters more. One opens doors, the other closes them, but you still can't fully see that yet. Think of two people who are equally talented in their field. One has confidence, they do excellent work, accept feedback, celebrate others' success, admit mistakes easily, and collaborate without needing to be the star. The other has ego. They do excellent work, but they need everyone to notice. They reject feedback because they know better. They resent others' success. They never admit mistakes because they see them as weakness. They only collaborate if they can lead and receive credit. The first person grows constantly because they can learn from everyone. The second stagnates because their ego won't let them see that they could be wrong, that others might teach them something, that their methods could improve. One builds genuine relationships, the other builds temporary alliances based on usefulness. One is genuinely respected, the other is merely tolerated. And I need you to understand something important. This won't heal you immediately. You won't finish this video and suddenly your ego disappears. The ego you've been feeding for years doesn't dissolve with a single intellectual insight. There's something else you need before this truly changes your life. Something you can only see when you look at larger, more honest patterns. Seneca wrote something that perfectly complements this. To err is human, but to persist in error is foolish. And your ego is exactly what makes you persist in error, because admitting mistakes would mean accepting that you were not perfect, that you're not always right, that you're as fallible as any other human being, and that simple admission is what your ego resists with all its strength. Now let me show you how ego destroys real lives at critical moments. Observe with brutal honesty whether you recognize your own pattern. Imagine you were 18 years old and you've just entered university feeling like the smartest person in the room because you were the best in high school. You arrive with that confidence that quickly turns into arrogance. You correct professors in class because they made a mistake. You dismiss your classmates' opinions because they clearly don't understand the topic as deeply as you do. You refuse to study in groups because you learn more on your own. And then the first exam results come back, and you're not the best. You're not even in the top 10. You have two options. You can humbly recognize that maybe you overestimated your abilities, that the classmates you underestimated are also brilliant, that you could learn from them, that you need to work harder, or you can let your ego take control. Blame the professor for being unfair. Tell yourself that the people who scored higher just memorized without really understanding. Refuse to ask for help, because that would mean admitting you don't know everything. The first option leads to growth, humility, better relationships, and real learning. The second leads to isolation, stagnation, bitterness, and 4 years later, you graduate technically competent but humanly unbearable, wondering why no one wants to work with you. And that path you take, that reaction of defending your ego instead of recognizing reality, is that really a free choice you were consciously making? Now imagine you're 25 and you achieve your first major professional success, a successful project, a promotion, recognition. And it's real. You earned it through hard work. But instead of celebrating it with gratitude and humility, your ego takes it as proof of your superiority. You start talking about it constantly. You bring it up in conversations where it doesn't belong. You subtly compare your success to others. And when someone else shares their achievements, you immediately overshadow them with yours. Slowly, without realizing it, people begin to avoid you, not because you're successful, but because your ego turns every conversation into a competition no one asked for. Your friends stop sharing good news with you because they know you will turn it into an opportunity to talk about yourself. Your colleagues stop collaborating with you because you always need to be the hero of the story. And most people never realize they are doing this. They live for years, wondering why they feel increasingly alone, without recognizing that their ego is building invisible walls around them. Or think of someone who is 35 and has had some success in their career. They earn well, they have a good position, they're professionally respected, but their ego won't let them accept constructive criticism from anyone, especially from people they consider below their level. Their boss points out a mistake, and instead of appreciating it and correcting it, they take it as a personal offense and remain resentful for days. A junior colleague suggests an improvement, and they dismiss it immediately because what could someone with less experience possibly know? Years pass, and while everyone around them grows, learns, and improves, this person stagnates, not because they lack ability, but because their ego won't allow them to admit they still have things to learn, that they could be wrong, that others might have valuable insights regardless of position. Or imagine someone who is 45 and lost an important relationship because they could never simply say, "I was wrong, I'm sorry," without adding justifications or redirecting the conversation toward the other person's mistakes, because their ego constantly told them that admitting fault was weakness, that apologizing meant losing, and now they're alone, wondering why all their relationships end the same way. Or think of someone who is 55 and never developed deep relationships because their ego always kept them in the position of the expert. Someone who gives advice but never shows vulnerability, who talks but rarely truly listens, who projects success but hides humanity. And now they have achievements on paper but loneliness in practice. And here is where something is decided that will determine the rest of your life. A decision most people never make consciously, but one that defines everything. Or someone who is 65 looking back and seeing a life full of professional achievements, but empty of genuine connections, full of being right, but empty of being loved, full of proving superiority, but empty of experiencing basic human equality. And they wonder if it was worth defending their ego for so long. And right now, you are exactly at the same breaking point all these people faced. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how much success you've had. It doesn't matter how strongly your ego tells you that you re above others. You are at the moment where you decide whether you continue letting ego ruin your life or whether you finally, and now, what I promised from the beginning, how to dismantle your ego and recover humility without destroying your legitimate confidence, respecting the real process this requires without pretending to have humility you don't genuinely feel yet. I am not going to ask you to become someone who never defends their ideas or who accepts every criticism blindly. Real humility is built through small but transformative steps. First step: brutal pattern recognition. This week, every time you feel the urge to defend yourself, to prove you're right, to compare yourself favorably to others, to minimize someone else's achievements, stop and ask yourself, is this my ego speaking, or is this genuinely important? Write it down. You'll discover that 90% of the time, it's pure ego trying to protect an image of superiority you don't actually need to protect. Second step, practicing you rewrite. Find one situation this week where you are genuinely wrong, where someone else is right, and simply say, "You're right. I was wrong." No justifications, no explanations, no defending your original position, just those words. You'll feel like something inside you dies when you say them, that something is your ego, and it needs to die for you to grow. And here, I need to warn you about something critical that most people get wrong. You will want to feel genuine humility immediately. You'll want to force this transformation in days, and that's a trap. True humility that isn't fake or fragile takes time to build, because you're undoing years of ego patterns you've fed and defended. If you try to force it too quickly, You'll just create another form of ego, the ego of "look how humble I am." Third step, genuine celebration of others. When someone around you achieves something, especially something you also wanted, or that could trigger envy, practice genuine celebration. Not superficial congratulations, while internally minimizing their achievement, but truly feel happy for them. Ask them how they achieved it with real curiosity, not with the intention of finding why it is not that impressive. This step kills the competitive ego that makes you see everyone as a rival. Fourth step, actively seeking feedback. Ask 3 people you trust to honestly tell you one area where you could improve, and when they tell you, don't defend yourself, don't explain, don't justify. Just listen, thank them, reflect. Your ego will scream that they're wrong, that they don't understand, that they're being unfair. Ignore it. There is truth in all feedback, even poorly delivered feedback. Fifth step, recognizing luck and privilege. Make a list of your main achievements and next to each one, write the external factors that contributed. People who helped you, opportunities you had, favorable circumstances, good timing. Not to minimize your effort, but to honestly recognize that no achievement is 100% self-made. This practice destroys the ego that takes all the credit. Sixth step, service without recognition. Do something genuinely useful for someone without telling anyone else. Help anonymously, contribute without expecting credit. If no one knows it was you, your ego can't feed on it. And this is the most powerful practice for building real humility, because it trains your mind to find satisfaction in the act itself, not in external recognition. Do you remember when I said at the beginning that ego prevents you from seeing reality as it is? Now you understand, not intellectually, but in that deep place where truths live, the ones that hurt but also liberate. Ego is not confidence. It's fear disguised as superiority, fear of not being enough, so you pretend to be more. And that distinction between confidence and ego I left open earlier. Confidence doesn't need constant proof. Ego does. Confidence can coexist with humility. Ego sees humility as an enemy. One grows when you recognize mistakes. The other dies. You are the breaking point where you decide whether ego keeps ruining your life, or whether humility finally frees you to truly grow. Marcus Aurelius, with all the power in the world, wrote, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is possible, be good." And even he, Emperor of Rome, constantly reminded himself of his basic mortality to keep his ego in check. And here is something no one tells you about letting go of ego. When you finally stop needing to be the smartest, the most successful, the one who's always right, you discover something extraordinary. You discover that people actually want to be close to you, not because of what you can do for them, not because you make them feel smaller, but because you finally become human with them. And that genuine connection you've always been searching for arrives when you stop chasing admiration. This message isn't Ginde tea for everyone. Not everyone is ready to recognize that their ego is ruining their life. Not everyone wants the real vulnerability that comes with genuine humility. And that's okay. But if you are ready to let that arrogant version of yourself die, and if this message stirred something deep you've been denying for years, if you started seeing your ego with painful clarity for the first time, if something inside you felt relief when you gave yourself permission to stop pretending you're more important than you really are, subscribe to Vida Stoica 360 for more deep reflections that actually transform your relationship with yourself from the root, not ones that just inflate your ego superficially. Like this video, so more people who are being ruined by their own ego can find this message and begin their process of genuine humility with dignity. And tell me honestly in the comments, which of these 6 steps will you take first? You don't have to do them all. You don't have to do them quickly. There's no external pressure, just start with one that feels possible for you today. Write it in the comments and commit publicly to taking it. Always remember this: ego is what's ruining your life, not because it makes you feel bad, but because it doesn't let you see the truth. Free yourself from it with humility, and now you decide what to do with that liberating truth. See you in the next video.